My name is Meggy Rustamova. We are in my studio, which is still a work in progress, and we are in Sint-Niklaas, Belgium. Headlights is a photograph I made in Florida. I shot it in 2018, but the first time I showed it was in 2020, so at BEIGE. And it actually depicts a cloud that I found very dramatic. And at first I was just looking at it from the car and I thought, wow, what kind of cloud? It's like a nuclear cloud, something like an explosion. And then I decided to stop the car and actually take the camera and film the cloud, but also photograph the cloud. And it's only afterwards that I saw that there are actually headlights from another car in the blackness of the picture. So, and I found this as if the photograph has eyes, as if it's like a panther or a cat in the night and you only see the eyes. What's really striking in this picture is the horizon actually, and it's really towards like a very black, the blackness of a night, or just like the night coming into the day, and then we still have the sky and this dramatic cloud, which could be even like a nuclear or maybe even a forest fire or something. And this is also one of the images that will be probably starting my new film. I can't say too much about it yet because I'm still editing, but the film is also called Horizon, and it will be by the end of the year, it will be finished. So actually, to be honest, could be like pictures that someone else could have taken as well, because you could say that it's a very touristical place, the Lower Canyon in Arizona. So you go 50 meters deep into some kind of this stone landscape, but under the ground. And but what struck me amongst other tourists, you could say, are the faces that I started recognizing in these rock formations, that I call them also. And one of the faces, this for example, really reminded me of some kind of figure of Pocahontas. As we know, of course, it's a very Western way of looking at the ancient, at the people who lived in the United States of America before it became the United States. And there were also other sculptures that reminded me, for example, of Mickey Mouse or Donald Duck, because from some kind of point it's really our eyes and how we look at those, because one could say 200 years ago we didn't have a Mickey Mouse, so we couldn't look at the stone sculpture. I mean, it's not a sculpture, but it's done by nature. But it's how we look at them with the knowledge that we have. And also they also reminded me some kind of the Sphinx in Egypt. And of course, Sphinx in Egypt is so far away, it's like 10, 15, 20,000 kilometers away. And each line also means like the water that was standing in the Lower Canyon. So it's thousands and thousands of years of history. As humans, we often try to recognize figures in clouds. We rarely recognize the same figures as our fellow human beings.
لندا بتخا بداي إلبا تريلبي طلايلبي اتخا داين كل من دي كمسان خشبنا دخمال بيتخا إن داخل ثاني نقول شبكة متيوماني لي تروشيبا طلاشيبا أر Bashiba, Hamsha Shiba, Shtishiba, Italy, Khadabda, Shtishiba. الحين يماني لمداية
Babel is a film that I made with my mother. I invited her to tell me all the words she remembers in Assyrian, which is her native language, and which at the same time is a language that is disappearing from generation to generation. People forget the language and it's less spoken, and then you have all the other languages that come in between from the countries where the Assyrians live. So somehow the children, the heritage is really, is going down, and you could almost say it's not a dead language, but it could become a dead language in maybe 50 years. Babel is referring to Babylon and also the Babylonical confusion of languages, and of course, where was Babylon or Babel? It was in Assyria, in the Neo Mesopotamia, so that was like one of the biggest cities, and because it's Assyrian, those people are coming from there. So the land between the Euphrates and the Tigris was the land of the Assyrians. How we preserve the language, for example, nowadays with all these mobile phones, we have all these abbreviations, very short words to say something longer. So how actually culture changes, but also the vocabulary changes with years, and how maybe the youngsters of today, the kids who are 15, how they speak is like a totally different way of communication like our parents spoke. So that I found really interesting, how language changes with just like one or two generations. In the beginning, we think that this woman is probably losing somehow her mind. She has this dementia, Alzheimer, so she's really trying to remember words. But towards the middle of the film, we realize actually she hasn't gone mad, or she's not forgetful. It's just the language that's escaping her. So, and towards the end, we realize that she knows the language, but it's also something she got from her mother, and that she's giving to her daughter. So it's talking, of course, I'm showing an elderly woman, my mother, and we rarely see older women in art, or older people. It's mostly young and hip and everything. So I also wanted to show another generation of people.
لشانة جلات هذا بخيلات هذا يمروا بس ما يشولا ولا مدري خان بس ذات هذوين كدانا بمخيلة مدري مو كم سنة تخرم
И по дороге он увидит эту статую молодого человека, стоящую в состоянии контрапосту, держа в руке книгу. Он понимает, что присесть каменевшим ему не удается действовать. Сильный, харизматичный мужчина, борящийся с миром, который сам создал.